Okay, Flickstar. Let's talk about ranking Indiana Jones films. I think it's easy what our top one and two are going to be. The other three films, maybe a little bit up in the air. We'll go five through one just because courtesy. That's just how it's done. Follow procedure here. Um, we'll go through five. Do you want to give your five, and then I'll give you my five, and maybe we can negotiate from there? What do you have for the Indiana Jones rankings?
I still think Temple of Doom's the worst.
Wait, over Crystal Skull. You think Crystal Skull is better than Temple of Doom?
Did I enjoy my time?
You think Crystal Skull is better than Dial of Destiny? Bro, we have to have separate lists. I
No,
cannot have them.
I'm open to talk. I'm not saying anything. Let me just hear me out. Okay. I honestly think these three, you can put them anywhere you want. I think you could debate any time. I'm okay with any list, really. Like, I just want make sure Raiders and Last Crusade are just in a tier on their own. These three, I just think all have their problems. And Temple of Doom is the one that's least Indiana Jones to me.
I think he's a much more aggressive Indiana Jones. He's meaner, right? Compared to like the optimism that's set in Raiders of the Lost Ark. The action sequences are great in Temple of Doom, though. I think there are some really cool sequences. I'm if you really want to have Temple Doom at five, I'm just curious what your four and three is and what the negotiation is going to be, because I have Temple of Doom pretty much at three.
You have a three. So, okay, hold on. Did you like Dial of Destiny better than Skull?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I think I would agree. I think overall, I think the ending, we just talked about the chaotic ending. Again, there were aliens in
Well,
Crystal Skull.
I do want to talk about that because it's not that far fetched.
What the skulls? The
The
skull?
aliens and Skull.
It's always been hinted at.
Well, Ricky, let me hit you with some
Oh
knowledge. I
boy.
do teach World Civ 1. I do teach about the Incas. This is what Indiana Jones does. What Indiana Jones does is that it takes history and then like what is now like considered myth and like what this is what the people of this civilization believed. They take that and they make a story out of it. The Incas, they have those huge designs in those fields that stretch hundreds of miles. People argue that those designs were to communicate with aliens, right?
Mhm.
Communicate people from another world, okay? And giving them like an openness to come to Earth and their civilization. So the idea of like having aliens a part of it, yes, that makes sense a little bit, for the people, but I don't think the general audience would like really buy that unless you really knew that type of thing. And I think it's easy when you go into like religion because people can relate to it, right? Like Last Crusade, people can like easily attach themselves to that story. When you use aliens, people just like think of the meme with the guy with the crazy hair, just like saying aliens. And they do it, the disbelief in Crystal Skull, you have to suspend belief really at the beginning of the movie. Like, not only is there aliens, you got like psychic powers from like Kate Blanchett. I'm like, this is too much.
Well, not from her. Not it wasn't from her. It was from the crystal. It was the skull from the alien.
Yeah, to me that's too much. I don't care. Like, just like people shouldn't have psychic abilities as the villain. Like, the villain of an Indiana Jones movie should be like an archaeologist or someone trying to grab the MacGuffin ahead of Indiana Jones and using Indy to grab it.
So
That's what they do.
I think Dial of Destiny. I will say Dial of Destiny is better than Crystal Skull because I think even though Mads Mikkelsen we just talked about didn't have a lot to do. Kate Blanchett, I love her. I think she's maybe the GOAT. Not great. And it's not just her fault. Just I think overall didn't love that villain. Didn't like the turn, then not turn, and then turn by Indy's partner. Very confusing. Marion's
Ray
okay.
Winstone.
Mac is
Yeah,
what I'm
Ray
thinking.
Winstone.
Yeah. I think overall Dial of Destiny is better. Good send off for Indy. I just think Temple of Doom is just the least Indiana Jones, and I shouldn't say worst. It's just my least favorite. I just no reason to visit that movie for me.
Okay, so I think Temple of Doom is the one we are unsure of where to place here. And that is the key film. It's the X factor to creating this list. I would say Crystal Skull a drawback that we have not talked about is Shia LaBeouf. I think his inclusion in this is not good. And I actually think the way they deal with it in Dial of Destiny is great, where they talk about, like, just say, okay, became a war hero, dies. Okay. Doesn't have the best relationship with his dad. Totally okay with that. I feel like it was weird with the black leather jacket, him always combing his hair, the hat on. It is so cringy.
Good point.
It is so cringy. But it also reminds me of like something Steven Spielberg would do in a 1950s setting. Like sometimes he overdoes it with like what people are wearing, how they're acting in certain time settings. I even think of Fablemans, where it's like him as a kid, like in the high school. It's like, man, you really are out of touch right now. It's just you're doing it based on what you think like Back to the Future told you, rather than like what actually is the way it's like told, or like how it is. And he's just not good. Like I never bought him as a successor to Harrison Ford. So that's why I had it last. Temple of Doom. I'm so connected with that movie, with the original trilogy, obviously, because it is in that trilogy, to really put it that far back. And is Dial of Destiny that good? No. You know, we just gave the scores.
Yep.
But
I agree. But again, so, okay, I'm fine putting Crystal Skull at 5. Okay. Now it's debate 3 and 4. I'll say Temple should be 4. Again, least Indiana Jones movie, I think. And what movie are you going to revisit next time you watch? If you can't revisit Last Crusade and Raiders, it has to be between Temple and Dial. Which one are you going to rewatch next?
Dial of Destiny.
That's why I think it should be ahead of Temple of Doom.
That's a good way of explaining it. Temple of Doom really has soured on a lot of people over the years.
It's not fun. It's not fun.
It's a Harrison Ford we don't want to hang around. And usually Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones is a great hang. When he's not a great hang, that tells you a lot about the movie. It hasn't aged well in terms of like the depiction of Short Round. And then also, we talked about how Karen Allen is awesome as Marion. The depiction of the female lead, if you even want to call her that, the female supporting character in that film, she like really is not good. Really is not good. She's just like a face that's in the film. So I'm willing to put it at 4 just because that's a good deal, because you allowed me to put Crystal Skull at 5.
Yes, I like this list. So then obviously then it's the debate 1 versus 2, Raiders and Last Crusade. Can we agree Raiders should be at 1?
Oh, yeah. I'm not one of those crazies, you know? Like,
Thank
not
you.
as crazy as you just being like Temple of Doom's the worst one. It's just, that's not even just
Least favorite, I should say.
It's really not, in this day and age, 2023, it's not crazy to say. I feel like a lot of people actually like agree with you that Temple of Doom is like, push it down. Like, that is not like the Indiana Jones we know and love.
I feel like if you were alive at that time and you were a huge Indiana Jones fan, and then in 1981, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then Temple of Doom comes out, right? You probably loved it at the time. And then now it's like you recognize, okay, maybe it hasn't aged well, and maybe it's not that great, but it's still like yours, right? You grew up with it, you know? I think then, yeah, like people are going to say that's the 3rd favorite. But in reality, no.
Those are the people that say Return of the Jedi is the best Star Wars movie of the trilogy.
Good point. That is a good point.
Yeah. Okay. Official list then. We don't have to say anything about Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like, it's like the blueprint for action films. You know, it is like, it is literally the pedestal of the highest type. Like, everyone is trying to attain the practicality of that, the performance, the charm, the score, everything. It's peak. So we're going to go Raiders of the Lost Ark, Last Crusade, Dial of Destiny, Temple of Doom, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
My last thing on this podcast, after just doing that list, and this is a take I've been holding for a while, okay? Is Indiana Jones franchise overrated?
I was literally about to ask you this, Ricky Flex, because if we just reviewed this movie and we don't have the highest of thoughts and we ranked it 3rd, I think it's because of oversaturation of movies. The franchise as a whole has gone down now.
Yeah. And rewatching Last Crusade fully, definitely like it more now than I did the first time I watched it. But still, like, again, there are those crazies out there. I think they're just Sean Connery, River Phoenix heads. But overall, like, that movie, like, I would probably put low 80s. in my opinion. Maybe high. Like I still regard it like
Mid-80s.
incredible, amazing, like critically amazing. It's a good, fun action adventure movie. Raiders is Raiders, but then the rest of them,
I put it as a 98. Check out the review on the driveinpod.com from a couple of years ago. Great watch. 98.
I'm just saying, I think this franchise is overrated. And it's a take I've been in my back pocket waiting to spill out. I think Dialed Destiny is now, I look like it's the proper take, not even a hot take.
Is there more like mediocre movies than actually good movies in the franchise? That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
I want to just zip my mouth before I say too much now. And I don't want to get like burned at the stake, but we are tempting death right now. Okay. That's our ranking. We'll not repeat it. That's going to do it for also episode 242 of the Drive-In Podcast. Make sure wherever you are either listening or watching, make sure you are subscribing and following the pod. Whatever listening platform you prefer, we are on there. Make sure that you rate us 5 stars and leave us a review. YouTube, make sure we are buzzing right now on YouTube. Make sure that you are subscribed. You're liking our videos. If you comment, we'll comment back. We love to communicate with all of you. We want to hear your thoughts on the Dial of Destiny and our rankings of Indiana Jones films and our take that it's an overrated franchise. Also, socials at the Drive-In Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Then we have preview next week. We have The Bear coming on Wednesday. Ricky Flex, what I was thinking is we rank 10 episodes of The Bear.
I'm down.
Oh, it's gonna be crazy.
It's
gonna get nuts. It's gonna get nuts. We've been kind of holding back our takes on The Bear. We talked about it a little bit last time. We want to give you the full buffet there. So we're gonna do that. And then check up on Friday. We're back to the grind. And then what do we have for the release after Indy? What we got? Oh my God. Is it Mission Impossible?
So next week, nothing. And then Mission Impossible is after that.
Maybe we review like Fallout, or maybe we review the first Mission Impossible. I think we have some options in order to get us like pumped up.
Yeah. And then obviously Mission Impossible, when it comes out, we'll do a rankings after the movie, like the same day as the review, same episode as the review. But yeah, that seems like a Fallout. It's going to be a Fallout pod.
Hell to pay. All right. That's going to do it for episode 242. For Ricky Flex and Dr. O. Until next time, we will smell ya.